What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Gotham review. I know it has been a long time since I have posted a video, or it seems like a long time since I posted a video. I will talk about that at the end of this video, because let's just go ahead and jump right into this Gotham review, because this is exactly how Gotham should develop and make solid episodes that don't involve huge characters. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. I think this episode was pretty solid. This had some good character development for a lot of different characters. Something I feel like Gotham has been lacking this season and pretty much throughout all of their seasons in, the series lifespan. So let's go ahead and just start off with what was my favorite part of the episode, and that was the storyline for Bullock. Bullock went all the way back to his freaking rookie year of being a cop. This is before Gordon, this is before everything. And he was involved in something that he didn't agree with, something that he kind of just ignored, and it has finally come back from his past to haunt him again, which was in the Jane Doe character that was trying to kill him and all of the cops involved in getting her mother killed and all of that jazz. And I thought this was just really solid because it just showed some more development for Bullock. We got to know a little bit more about his past, and we don't really get a lot of that in Gotham. It's just basically like, here's Jeremiah, here's freaking another crazy Bane character, here's all this, and you don't ever see a lot of storylines involving the characters that we've known for the last 5 years. The one thing I really did enjoy about this episode was it felt like there was a mystery happening. We were trying to find out what was going on with Bullock's backstory, but at the same time, like, Bruce went out to go find out Indian Hill or what was going on in the sewers and stuff like that, and we didn't know if they were connected or not, and they really weren't, because one was having to do with the toxins that went into the river, the other one was having to do with Indian Hill and Hugo Strange. And so it was kind of cool because I was like, oh, is Bruce going to find out a little bit part of the mystery? Or is this mystery going to be, its own thing? And, like, I don't know. It just felt like everybody was trying to uncover some stuff in this episode. And that kind of took me back to the earlier days of Gotham, where this was a little bit more of a detective show than, a freak show. The episode does give us a good glimpse at the Jane Doe character. Obviously, we're finding out the mystery as the episode goes along, but this Jane Doe character is actually a character from the comic books, and they do have these same abilities of being able to just mimic somebody perfectly. In the comics, though, the person is actually deformed. It looks like their skin is being ripped off at times. But from what Gotham seemed to do, it seemed like they took a character from the Batman animated series and kind of morphed it with this Jane Doe character, which was this character right here.
Ah! No! Don't look, please! Oh, no. She's beautiful.
She can't see that anymore. All she sees are the flaws.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Calendar Girl, aka Paige Monroe, and I thought this was actually really cool. If you ever watched that animated episode, it is called Beauty in the Eyes of the Beholder. It is a great episode, but they kind of took that mentality of Calendar Girl and morphed it into this character of Jane Doe, because as we saw at the end of the episode, when she finally takes off her mask, she's a beautiful woman. She's just, like, really nice, but she thinks she's ugly. She thinks she's scarred, and Hugo Strange messed up her face. That is the exact same thing that happens with Calendar Girl. I just wanted to point that out because you guys know that I like to bring the comics into these shows and kind of show you where everything ties in, or, where they're kind of pulling their inspiration from. One thing I did find interesting about Jane Doe is everybody thought this was freaking Clayface. Everybody was telling me during the live streams that I had during the week that they're like, oh, Clayface is going to be in the next episode, and I thought that was pretty interesting that they didn't go with clones, because everybody thought there was going to be a clone Barbara, or, that there was going to be Clayface. I like that there was a new character that had these abilities, and because, I was just going to be like, okay, here we go, more clones, more this, more that, but it was really interesting to see that Gotham actually took a flavor of the week character and made a solid episode out of it. It tied it into just, the past of one of their characters and brought it in, and just, I don't know, like I said, I'm very surprised because Gotham hasn't been the best show for character development or bringing in these new characters and making them interesting. I'm just applaud Gotham. I really enjoyed this episode. To wrap this section up, we see that she gets killed at the end by Bullock after a standoff, and then Bullock ends up confessing to Gordon about it. And, he just says, Gordon's like, I can't give you any forgiveness for this. He shouldn't have to. Obviously, Gordon has a bunch of sins on his own end, too, that Bullock probably wouldn't forgive him about. But it was cool that Bullock was like, I just needed you to know. Like, that's all it is. I needed to get this off my chest. And that is character development. Little things like that just show the progressions of a character, that people always have corrupt past, things that they regret. And, if they can admit them, if they can say them out loud, it just shows that they're able to move on. They move past things. And I thought this was really awesome. Next up is the only other cool thing that happened in this episode. The Gordon-Barbara stuff was kind of whatever. The Bruce-Alfred stuff was really kind of cheap, in my opinion. I know they were kind of trying to move towards, like, the Batman. Like, oh, there needs to be a protector. There needs to be something better. Really, it was really cheap, in my opinion. Like, honestly, that kind of stuff should have been built and was being built. And I don't know what they did with it. With Jerome versus Bruce back in the day, that should have been the stepping stone of everything. But it's kind of just repeat storylines with them. Like, they're trying to get to this thing. They're just not doing a very good job with that. So let's screw the Bruce and Alfred stuff. Don't care about the Jim and Gordon and Barbara stuff because that's not really anything happening there. Let's talk about motherfreaking Scarface. But talking about Scarface, we found out that he wasn't brought back from Hugo Strange or anything else. From what Mr. Penn said, he got shot, he woke up in the morgue, and he crawled himself to a freaking magic shop, and that is when Scarface started talking to him. I thought that was a pretty interesting origin story. Definitely wasn't the best, but this character was freaking solid in this episode as it went on, because we learned that, he showed how serious he was by killing the new goon that Penguin had just hired, and he would just, we saw that Penn was using Scarface as the tough guy. Like, Penn has just been this pushover, walkover kind of person, but Scarface was the hard ass in his personality. So we see Scarface basically bullying Riddler and Penguin through the whole episode, and right before he's gonna kill Penguin, he starts yelling all this stuff at him, and Penguin's like, look, I knew who you were, and I saw the potential in you, blah, 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 blah. And then Penn, in his Scarface voice, is just yelling at Penguin, and then slowly starts going back to his regular Mr. Penn voice, and he's like finally standing up for himself in his own voice, and it's kind of separating Mr. Penn from Scarface. And I thought that was really awesome, and if we could have saw that over episodes, I think that would have been better, but obviously we know this is the final season of Gotham. Everything is being rushed, but I think this was still handled pretty well because we knew a little bit about Penn before this. Like, we saw him in multiple episodes. We know how bad Penguin was to him. He pushed him over. He fed better food to his dog than he did Mr. Penn. So we got to see a lot of that just anger and hatred towards Penguin for the way he was treated come out through Scarface, and I thought this was really, really solid. And then of course Penguin rushes him when, Riddler, does the distraction. He ends up shooting Scarface, and then Penn is like, you freed me, Mr. Penguin, and of course Riddler ends up shooting Penn right in the face. Anyways, I thought Scarface was freaking awesome. It's a character that I've always wanted in the show, or just in one of the Batman movies or something like that. He's just been an awesome, cool little B, C-list character. And yeah, it was pretty awesome to finally see him in a show. I thought the doll, or the dummy, was actually done really well. And it was just a cool thing to have in an episode. I think it would have been better to actually have that character throughout, the rest of the season, or, in multiple seasons or something like that. They could have easily brought him in a long time ago. It's unfortunate that the show has to end for them to rush him in here. At the same time, Mr. Penn and Scarface being killed does kind of annoy me because, I don't know, everybody talks about plot armor, which I really, really hate that term. They talk about plot armor and that none of these characters can die because they gotta be in the future of Batman, but then Gotham's its own show, so they can do whatever they want and it doesn't really matter. This stuff kind of annoys me because obviously Scarface is a character that Batman deals with in the future, so they're okay with killing these smaller characters, but they won't kill the bigger characters. It's that kind of stuff that really annoys me because I think this show would have been really exciting had they not given plot armor to freaking some of these characters like Riddler or Penguin and stuff like that, and that we actually might have lost some in the build-up to Batman. I know a lot of people will be like, oh no, they can't kill those kind of characters. Why not? Gotham's its own thing. They're making their own characters, right? So why is it that, certain characters can't make it or need to make it to the era of Batman? Mini rant over, and the last thing I do kind of want to hit on is the relationship between Penguin and Riddler seems to finally be back where it was at, and I think this is awesome. Again, small little bits of character development I mean, I don't know who wrote this episode. I don't know if they've been writing multiple episodes, but if they have wrote multiple episodes of Gotham, they should have wrote multiple episodes of Gotham like this one, because this one just had so much little things of character development that I really, really enjoyed, because we saw that, you know, Riddler called out Penguin for being a terrible person, and then Penguin ends up telling Riddler at the end, like, you didn't need to do that. And then they kind of just accept each other for being terrible people, and that's why their friendship is so good. And then you hear Riddler laugh like he used to when he was badass and when they were friends. And I really like seeing that. It just shows that he's finally coming back into his own, that he is going to be that Riddler of old. So again, solid freaking episode of Gotham. You know, I will talk shit about this show, but I will also applaud you when I think you do great. So solid, solid stuff. I want to know your guys' opinions about this episode in the comment sections down below. Guys and gals, I do want to talk about why I haven't posted solid or, you know, videos like this in the last 2 weeks. It's because I've been really busy trying to get just life in order. I have been posting live streams that are still available to go watch. So if you want like an hour plus worth of content, go check out those live streams. I went in depth about why I don't like the whole thing that happened with Jeremiah in last week's episode. Definitely go check out that live stream. But I have been live streaming a lot more over on twitch.tv/JUICEfromtheBOX. You should definitely come hang out with us, because we stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. It is kind of late, but if you are a night owl or even on the West Coast, you definitely have all the time in the world to come hang out with us. We're playing some cool games. We're doing some silly stuff over there. We're chatting it up and just making just really good times. So yeah, definitely come hang out with us over there if you are somebody that just wants to be a part of the Justice League and just, you know, have a good time. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I am your host, Juice Wayne, and remember, Batman is awesome. See you guys next time. New and improved wheel spin, ladies and gentlemen.
Step on the land, I've got your hand, and now we're way down, fade out, no.
Yes!
Was it your plan?
And new Intercontinental Champion, baby!
You bring everything.
We finally got it! We finally got it in here!
Burning, you tell me to hold on tight. I wish that we could stay here forever. I want
Bro!
of you brings the fight in me, makes me wanna move.
Try this down. Get out of here!
Looking in my eyes, feel your hands on mine. Tonight we're free.
Woo! We did it, bitches! We fucking did it! Yes!